Hey Physique Freaks, how's it going? Coach Scott here, and right now I am having a fantastic conversation with Christy, who's one of my superstar physique coaching clients. I thought it'd be great to get you involved in this discussion as well, to hear if you can relate to her experience, what she went through last night, and just to get your thoughts and insights. So be sure to comment down below and share your thoughts. If you enjoy this conversation, please hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. So during Christy's check-in this morning, she mentioned that she went out for dinner last night and that she felt like she ate a little bit more than she needed to. And her question was, why is it so hard to stop sometimes? What makes it such a great question is that this is something that I'm still working on myself and continuously trying to improve upon, and really will be for the rest of my life. And I think 99% of us are going to be facing this battle, if you want to call it that, for our lives. And the key here is that Christy is aware of what's going on. She's aware that she was eating beyond the point of satisfaction and asking the questions like, why am I doing this? And the most important question is like, what can I do to improve upon this? And the goal isn't perfection here. You're not trying to tell yourself that for the rest of my life, I'm never going to overindulge. I'm never going to eat beyond the point of satisfaction. That's just not realistic. It's just not fun, really. The key here, what the goal should be, is to have those moments where you're faced with those situations where you're eating to satisfaction, the food's like super delicious and you want to eat more. Having those chances, having those situations where you go beyond that point, eat beyond the point of satisfaction, having them few and far between. So a couple times a month is more than fine to kind of overindulge a bit, if you want to call it that. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going way overboard or anything, but still eating more than you really needed to. I usually don't mind overeating a little bit from time to time on occasion, mainly because I know I can make up for it, counteract that damage, if you want to call it that, by eating a little less the next day. Really, I prefer to look at things on a weekly basis rather than trying to hit a specific calorie target each and every day. It's my goal to get there within that ballpark range, but my main thing is trying to hit that caloric target for the week rather than day by day. So let's say in fat loss mode here, my goal is to hit 2,000 calories each day. That'd put me in a 500 calorie deficit. That would be 14,000 calories for the week. Now, some days I might eat a little less than 2,000 calories, some days a little bit more. As long as it works out to 14,000 calories by the end of the week, I'm golden. My weight will still, even if I have some spikes up and down, my weight should be trending down in the right direction. But it's a bit more challenging for Christy because she's a petite woman in her 40s, which means her maintenance level calories are already pretty darn low, and creating a decent sized caloric deficit, it's a challenge. It really means that she's not going to be eating very much food. So if she happens to have an occasion where she does overeat a bit, it's tougher to eat even less than her normal caloric deficit the following day because it would be very little food. She's probably in the toughest demographic for fat loss because there really isn't a lot of wiggle room to play with in terms of food volume that you're consuming for the day. So requires a lot of discipline and consistency. So very little wiggle room throughout her fat loss phase here to play around with. So now to answer Christy's question, there is so many reasons why we overeat. I'd say the most obvious is that the food tastes freaking delicious. We love it. Our taste buds are dancing. And when you have a really good meal, you can have what it's referred to as like a foodgasm, where you're taking a bite and you're like, oh, it's so good. And you're just marinating in that moment. It's just so delicious. You feel like you're on cloud 9 in heaven. Even referred to the meal as being heavenly. So food tastes delicious. So what do we do in these situations? It's a common advice that you probably heard before, is just to take your time and chew slowly. Really savor every single bite. And that's really where you get, if food tastes delicious, why not have it sit in your mouth a little bit longer? Enjoy that bite. Take a sip of water between bites. Enjoy the conversation with the company that you're having. You don't have to like devour your meal and then get into a conversation. Take a bite, talk to the company that you're with, have a sip of water, take another bite, slowly chewing the food. And that's probably the most common advice that you hear. It really is common sense advice, and it's great advice in my opinion. The other thing is to simply recognize that eating to the point of satisfaction is really more enjoyable than pigging out, as I mentioned earlier. Like for me, myself, when I get beyond that point of satisfaction and I start overeating and I'm feeling full and bloated and uncomfortable, afterwards I often feel lethargic. I may experience some acid reflux. To me, that's not enjoyable. I don't care if others say that just live a little, that's enjoying life or whatever. I don't know. I get more enjoyment out of stopping at the point of satisfaction because I tasted the meal. It was delicious. I savored every bite. I enjoy delicious food. What more can you ask for? Pigging out doesn't add more joy to the experience. You can always take a doggy bag and have it the next day. If you don't want to eat any more than you have, you're satisfied, you want to stop at this point, ask for a doggy bag, enjoy the rest of the next day. Reason number 2 is that it's in our wiring. It's programmed in our DNA from our hunter-gatherer days when we would go through feast and famine. So when you're in a fat loss phase and you've been in a deficit for a few days or even an extended period of time, your body is basically, that wiring is kicking in saying it's famine. When you get a meal, you don't know when your next meal is going to come from, so you're going to feast like crazy. Obviously, nowadays we know that's not the case, but it's within our wiring. So the key here, the solution, is just to be aware of this. So when you feel like you're going to overeat and you've been in a deficit for a while, just kind of be aware. You know what? You're fighting your body's programming right now. It is a challenge. And you just have to be conscious and make the decision to, I'm going to stop right now. I know my next meal is I'm going to have plenty of food tomorrow. There's no concern about famine the next day, even though you're going to be in a deficit and your body's thinking it's a famine. You know yourself that food is plentiful and you don't have to worry about going without it. And once again, you can kind of take that doggy bag home and enjoy the meal the next day. And reason number 3 is not so much if you're eating out at a restaurant and find yourself tempted to overeat here. It's more or less, I'd probably say if you're around the house, and it all comes down to your mood. So reason number 3 would be your mood. If you're bored or you're stressed, so you're walking around the house, just kind of maybe watching TV, you're bored, you got nothing going on, or maybe you're stressed like crazy and you find yourself looking through the cupboards for food to eat. In those situations, definitely pound some water and get your butt outside for a walk. I find that is the best solution. It's a distraction that can not only boost your mood, elevate your mood, make you feel better, you get in tune with nature, your surroundings, you get your blood flowing, it just clears your mind. It's also a great stress reducer as well. So reason number 3, mood. Solution to battle that boredom and stress eating is to drink some water, get outside, go for a walk, and just clear your head. Reason number 4 for why we often overeat is that you could be dehydrated. It's definitely, I notice myself, whenever I catch myself rummaging through the cupboards and looking for food, oftentimes I haven't drank enough water throughout the day. So simple solution, drink more water and try to keep that consistent on a daily basis. Reason number 5 would be lack of sleep. And I really do find these are two, not drinking enough water and not getting enough sleep are two things that have and increase in stress are things that really affect my appetite. So the key, it's a little bit tricky here. Say you didn't get a good night's sleep last night, or maybe it was 2 nights in a row and you find your appetite is increasing. It's tough in the moment to kind of combat that. Of course, the solution would be to try to get back on track with better sleep, but that doesn't help you right now in this moment. So in the moment, it's really awareness, because I find in those moments where you're rummaging through the cupboards and everything and like, oh my God, I can't satisfy my hunger right now, you start thinking to yourself, well, maybe it's because I'm in the deficit, here I go again, I do great for a few days and then I lose control and everything. It's recognizing that you're not losing control because your lack of discipline or anything. It's the situation. You didn't drink enough water throughout the day and maybe you didn't sleep well last night or for a few nights in a row. So recognize that, and again, just try to find ways to combat that by being aware of it, drinking more water, keeping yourself busy, getting out for a walk, and then planning on getting better structured sleep throughout the day, the next day, throughout the week. Reason number 6 is social settings and the influence of people around us. I'm sure you've been out for dinner with friends, family, or had them over for dinner, been over at their place, and they've told you, why don't you just live a little? Why are you eating like a rabbit? Why don't you have some of these fries? Have another beer with me? And they're basically trying to force their lifestyle and their values upon you without accepting your values and the lifestyle that's important to yourself. So it's really important to own your goals, to stay true to yourself, to do what's congruent with your core values. So know your goals, own them, and remind yourself why you want to achieve. Why do you want to get ripped after 40? Why do you want to have this vibrant, healthy, energetic physique that you feel confident and proud to show off? Remind yourself of all the reasons that you're doing this, and that it's okay that you have 2 different lifestyles here. That's their lifestyle, you have yours. Be yourself, be true to yourself. It's the greatest gift you can give to yourself and the world. Reason number 7 is a biggie. I think it's something that we all fall victim to, and something that we kind of will be fighting for the rest of our lives as well. It's those conversations that we have in our mind during those moments when we are about to overindulge, where there's that potential for overeating, and that is the justification of overeating. And I reflect back on the 10 years where I struggled to drop nearly 50 pounds of fat that I had gained through my early 20s. And it was like I find myself being really good for a few days and then fall off the wagon. Really good for a few days and fall off the wagon. It took me 10 years to realize that I was having these conversations in my mind each time I was faced with those situations of potentially overeating. It'd be telling myself, you know what, you've been really good for a few days, you deserve this, it's okay if you have a cookie right now, it's all good. And then so I started having a couple of cookies, and next thing you know, I was justifying, you know what, forget it. Just eat the whole thing of cookies and you can start again tomorrow, or you can start again Monday. As soon as I start thinking to myself, we can start again tomorrow, it's like the floodgates open and all hell broke loose. So that was back, I broke free from that about 8 years ago and been very happy ever since. But since then, I faced a whole new type of justification where, like nowadays, if I catch myself overeating, I may tell myself, you know what, you look pretty darn great. It's okay, you can afford to overeat right now. You can eat a little bit more. It's going towards muscle building. And sure, it's okay in the moment if it's only happening once in a while. It's when you start allowing those thoughts and those justifications to happen each and every day, that's where you get into trouble and the weight gain starts creeping right back up. So you got to keep that in check. It's a constant battle. Like I said, we got a lot working against us here. There's a lot of challenges to face when we're trying to transform our body and even maintain our physiques. So the solution is awareness, and having a counter argument for when you become aware of these justifications going on in your mind, and telling yourself that achieving your goal is way more rewarding than this moment of eating beyond that point of satisfaction. And yes, you are doing great. You've been doing great for a few days. You did have an incredible workout. You pushed really hard, and it's all the more reason to keep going, to keep going strong and finish strong and keep pushing through. It's so much more rewarding in those experiences. And then remind yourself of how you felt the last time you gave into those justifications, how full and bloated and uncomfortable you felt. Maybe you got a crappy night's sleep. Maybe you were hungover the next day. Just feeling not yourself and not in line, not congruent with this lifestyle that you have for yourself. And is it really worth it to push beyond that point and experience those feelings all over again? Or are you better just stopping in this moment, being satisfied, and walking away feeling victorious, proud, confident, and knowing that you are on this path of success? So when you find yourself in these situations, don't beat yourself up and don't feel guilty. You are not alone. It happens to the best of us. The key is that you are aware of what is going on and that you're trying to improve upon it each and every time. You're treating each of these situations as practice. You're trying to get better each and every time. You're striving for progress, not perfection. This is a journey. It's a process. We're trying to learn and grow every step of the way. That's really the beauty of what's going on. It's really an incredible journey of self-discovery. So embrace this journey, embrace these situations as opportunities to learn and grow and improve upon yourself. I hope you found this rant helpful. If you did, please hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it, and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I love to hear from you. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Jacked After 40. Have yourself an absolutely amazing day. I'll catch you in the next video.